for kakra ya kwakoto aba na ka some few months to the December 7th general election. Na wo hwe NDC akachia Professor Jinana Opoku Ajiman in the campaign she sounds na the flag bearer former President John Dramani Mahama so guna proboswa ordinary sem etujo mani abromo ya campaign asem ketua na odani woni ko ekohwe MPP so the same thing is happening na Dr. Ahad Mahmoud Bamia eguso oguna proboso na that's the same thing with Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh na etiefo Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh edine ni ko tre enkranza na semi de dwa no trim wasn't in some time ago and it's for no to draw for no sense here a ready for it was some time ago sana two prominent pastors bia our Ghana memu homudu muduma yepa unity and say now my they were missing all of a sudden lim adia ekunwom no say NDC for asuma gang leaders akọ so for how kwaje omokra if you sem no kwa NDC for so say ekun one spiritualist beast according to his words no mine also to one spiritualist be on so dini juma ye pa some time ago some years back na it's for it's media araho kakrantia sembe no yankone kuti Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh then some more to Dwambra medamase
what is go now to my NDC obo bebu wa sorry die o ria wa be simochi na wu wa ye dey wa condemn Obisi hospital, no Obisi Mochi. Open hospital and Upper Mochi. Open hospital and Upper Mochi. Obama State School, Obama School and Obama State Fair. Obama School and Obama State Fair. Open Candia and Upper Zoom. Open Candia and Upper Zoom. Open MPP and NDC. Open MPP and NDC. Open Mahomet.
I haven't
to the needs.
I really haven't heard anybody say that apart from the NDC. They have been touting their own, manifesto. Because I'm really yet to hear anybody say that. And it's especially so because, really, if you read the manifesto, you realize that they're completely out of touch with the realities of the Ghanaian people.
Completely.
And yes. I mean, you can infer that from even the questions that you legitimately asked. Clearly, this is a group of persons who have sat in a room, put together things that they believe sound like music in the ears of people just for votes. Because if you compare the things they've put in their manifesto against the principles they've been espousing over the years and what they stand for, it's in complete contradiction of what they've been telling the Ghanaians.
You are scrapping e-levy, you are scrapping e-levy. That's no contradiction.
Complete contradiction of what they've been preaching, what they have been preaching over the period. This is a group of persons who were in power. In fact, this is a flag bearer who has been president before. Today, his spokesperson tells us that no Ghanaian child should have admission to school and not be able to go to school. But they were in government. He was president for 4 good years and left 100,000 average of Ghanaian children at home. The biggest challenge of Mahama, His Excellency, and the NDC have is the fact that they would have to account for his presidency within the 4-year period. Forget when he was vice president. Within the 4-year period that we gave him an opportunity. Because everything, in fact, everything you look at in the manifesto, you would have heard him mentioned it either before 2012 or during the 2012 elections. And that is where everybody is concerned. Some say, not just me or you, because you ask very legitimate questions. Millions of Ghanaians are looking at him and saying, where is this man coming from? This is somebody who is all of a sudden talking about how no sick person should be allowed or left to die. The person collapsed the National Health Insurance Scheme. This is somebody and this group of persons who promised us. They basically promised to give us a one-time health premium. Then we voted for them. For 8 years of being in office, they did not even think about the policy. In fact, what some of their leadership told us was the fact that that promise they gave was overambitious. The General Secretary of the NDC today, Fifi Kwete, said that the promise based on which we voted for them was overambitious, and so they could not implement. And this is the same person that has come to us and said, I was president. All the things that I'm seeing today are things that have been in existence in this country. But when you made me president, I didn't do them. Make me president again, and I'll do them for you. Look at this manifesto, Samson. The manifesto is either a recycled promise from his earlier manifesto he presented to us in 2012. When you give us a manifesto, we expect 2 things. Tell us how you're going to implement the manifesto, which timelines you're going to look at it. And if it's going to transcend beyond your 4 years, of course we should be able to say it. Secondly, give us confidence that you are credible and that you actually do what you say you will do. I look at the former president's manifesto for 2012, and I have it here. And I go through this manifesto and ask myself, how is this man expecting that the Ghanaian persons will make him president again? And I have a list of about 280 promises here. Is here. I can list all of them to you, and you can see it here. Out of the 280 promises he made in 2012, before we made him president, he fulfilled only 77 of them. Only 77 of them, Samson. A whooping 68% of the promises the former president made to the people of this country, before we made him president in the past, he did not fulfill. And so what is news? If the same person comes to you 8 years later and starts listing, basically shoplifting things across every space and putting it into a document and listing, what is news about it? You look at some of the things they mentioned, and clearly it tells you why they deliberately sat down for 8 years without putting out their manifesto until Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia put the manifesto. Clearly, places where we say we'll do one, they say we'll do two. They simply waited. When we say we'll do two, they say they will do three. Places we say we'll do black, they will do white. In some of the instances, they simply went into a manifesto and lifted everything and put into their manifesto. And that is where you see a lot of incoherence in the things that they put out. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is very clear. His manifesto is simply consolidating what it is that we have achieved as a country and fixing what is outstanding. And that is what an upgrade does. Something. Anybody that understands technology, understands reset, will tell you that when you are resetting, you have two options. Reset to factory settings, which basically is wiping everything off to zero, or resetting to a particular period, depending on when you backed up. I hope you're following. That is what it is. You are resetting to a particular period, depending on when you backed up. Now, for these guys not to hoodwink us and mislead us, one of the things that is missing, which they need to tell us that we can interrogate correctly, is where are you resetting us to? And clearly when I listen to Sami, all I hear is they are resetting us to factory settings. Because he made a very important point. He says that when you have a broken system, you wipe everything and start afresh. That is not what Ghana needs. The Ghana today that under your tenure slept in darkness for 4 to 5 years now has power. We don't need to reset our energy sector. The energy sector is thriving. The Ghana today that you left 100,000 children every year on the street now are in school. You don't need to reset the education sector because the children are in school. The Ghana that you left, the poor person's children in colleges of education and nursing, that you said if you're going to lose an elections by simply not restoring the allowances, then you will lose. They are now in school. They are receiving their allowances. You don't have to reset that Ghana that we are enjoying now. The Ghana today, where we could not even identify our citizens and take care of them properly, today has a properly synchronized national identification system that is synced to almost every touch point you can think of, and we are ready to leap into the future. It doesn't need a reset. It needs a consolidation, and it needs an upgrade. And so when you come and tell the people that I was president before, I denied all of you children from going to senior high school education. But forget the fact that I said I would not implement free senior high school on the whimsical promises of a desperate politician. Forget the fact that I said I will not implement free senior high school. I will not spend 2 billion cedis on free senior high school. Today, I was against free senior high school. I always said that when it comes to free senior high school, some people should pay and others should not pay. All of a sudden, come to university. If you qualify to the university, I will pay for university education for free. And that is a contradiction you sought to put out. You know what is critical about Manifesto Samson? It is not just you putting things into a document. It is about who is behind it and the credibility of the individual, the sincerity of the individual, the honesty of the individual. God being so good for the people of this country, we've had an opportunity to experience this individual. Of all the candidates who are running for this election, it is only the former president who has been president before. And so we can tell clearly, today we have his scorecard is here, as to whether he's a man who sticks to his words, as to whether he's a man who says what he will do based on manifestos. This is the list of his manifestos from 2012, after which we made him president, and this is how much he failed. Completely failed to deliver on these promises to the people of this country. Now, Samson, think about this. You leave me at home without